Go ahead and take the Word of God with me, please, to the New Testament book of 1 Corinthians. The New Testament book of 1 Corinthians, chapter number 13. We're beginning a study through the book of Corinthians, chapter number 13, the great chapter of love and Christian love. And we're beginning the first 3 verses to begin our study of this great chapter of the Bible. It says in verse 1, "Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels, and have not charity, I become as sounding brass or as a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy, and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith, so that I can remove mountains, and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, and have not charity, it profiteth me nothing." In the year 1854, Florence Nightingale sailed to Scutari, Turkey, during the Crimean War. And there, with her team of nurses, she would help the soldiers. And she would give them food and help them. She became known as the Lady with the Lamp, as she went from soldier to soldier to help them, to give them good meals. They were living in awful conditions. To help them to live a sanitary life, a healthy life, give them good, healthy meals. Because she cared for them. She cared for these men. She was like their mother. She cared for them. Deeply cared for them. Service and love always go together. And here in this text, we talk about service and love. We're here in the section of 1 Corinthians about spiritual gifts. Chapter 12, 13, and 14 are all about spiritual gifts. What you see in chapter 12 is the ways of service. And we all have a spiritual gift. God has gifted us in some way to serve in the local New Testament church. To serve others. But service is pointless if it is not done in love. And that's the theme of these 3 verses. And they all have the same format. The gift, and then the love. That's what I want to look at. Here, Corinth was an interesting city. It was known as the Vanity Fair of the Mediterranean of the ancient world. And they were all about what man can do, the skills of man. And this was a very gifted church. And here, Paul lists many gifts. In verse 1, tongues of men and of angels. Now this speaking in tongues is not done anymore in the local church. That was of the apostles. It's not for us now. And then verse 2, prophecies. That be foretelling. That have been also of the apostles. But also forthtelling, giving the word of God. Preaching. And also there's understanding. All mysteries and knowledge and understanding the deep things of God. And having all faith. Just a little faith can remove mountains, but this is great faith. And also the giving, though I bestow all my gifts to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned, that's martyrdom. These are great gifts, great things. But these gifts are made to help others. Why was the car invented? To help people go from point A to point B. Why was the oven invented? To help man bake and cook. Why were inventions made? Like the light bulb. To help man see. Why were inventions made? They were made to help man. And gifts are not for the one who has the gift. Gifts are for others, not the one who actually has the gift. Is it help the man with the gift? Absolutely. But it's to edify the church. To help and build them up. That's the point of it. Let's move on to the love. This is the great theme here of love. So we have all these gifts, but they're pointless without love. The spirit of love must control the spiritual gifts. Haley in his Bible handbook said this is the premier teaching of Christianity. This was a gifted but loveless prodigal church. They were carnal. They were gifted but loveless. Let's look at this love. And have not charity, verse 1. Verse 2, and have not charity. Verse 3, and have not charity. Charity, that word is agape. Agape love. That means a self-sacrificial act to better another. It takes sacrifice to profit. John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That's the same word, agape. God loves, so we should love. He sacrificed his Son. God is a God of love. And that love that God gives to us, we must take that love and give it to others. Because without love, verse 1, we are as sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Sounding brass is just like a gong. Boom. A tinkling cymbal, just a clanging cymbal. Gifts with no love just equals noise. There's no harmony to it. There's no harmony. 1945. Concentration camp. 3 men escaped. And the Germans in charge said, okay, to scare the people who do not try to escape anymore, 10 of you are going into a bunker and we're starving you to death. They chose 9, and then they chose another man. But the man started crying, saying, no, I have a wife, I have kids. Of course they didn't care. But an old man, an old Polish priest, Maximilian Kolbe, I wouldn't agree with him everything theologically, of course, but he stepped forward and said, I'll go. And they went in there, bunker, last to survive. They had to give him lethal injection to kill him. And that man, Kolbe took his place, and that man, after the concentration camp, they would be reunited with his wife, his kids, his 2 sons had already died, but he was with his wife, and he made his mission to go tell everybody about Kolbe, and how Kolbe sacrificed and showed agape love. That loved him. Service is pointless if it's not done in love. We can have all gifts, but if we have not love, we are nothing. We're just noise. Profits nothing. And have not charity. We need to love. Love's not really a feeling, it's an action. A self-sacrificial action to better another. May the Lord help us. Let's ask the Lord to put it in us, this love and this focus and this desire and this burden to better others. To better others. Not ourselves, but others. May the Lord help us as we study love for the next couple of weeks. May the Lord help us to learn how to love. We love him because he first loved us. May the Lord help us. So we'll see y'all then next week, looking at charity suffers long and is kind, or the kingdom of heaven. Thanks for watching.